Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Accounting 2302, bringing you the latest and greatest in homework hits with your host, Professor Naragon. Now, we're bringing you straight from the record charts, Chapter 16, dealing with process costing. Now, with this, you need to go ahead and probably open your notes so that you can have a reference. But again, make sure you either go through this either through the Connect website or a Blackboard. I will always suggest probably Blackboard. Automatically goes you right to the scene. So, and once you start, again brings you straight to question number 1, where this question is giving you 4 items that we end up going with and bring you the physical flow. So we want to know the physical flow reconciliation. And with this, we have to know account and counted. Now, if you have your notes popped right up, you can always go to it. And here's the chart right here that tells you exactly what you need. But if you don't need that, again, take this reference. Account, we're looking for more present form. What would I have presently? Well, if I had something presently, I'll probably have beginning and probably good started. But they Connect likes to put it a little bit different. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I did the wrong one. Now it's unit started this period. Okay. And watch out for this little top. Make sure it's always total. Don't forget that blank. And we just fill in the numbers. So 196, 123, 425, 123, boom, done. And then, so we already got 2. Now we look at the past tense for accounted. And that gives us the units completed and ending work. Okay, and again, don't forget your total. Total units counted, and fill in. Now, again, the goal of the reconciliation is to make sure that these actually balance. To make sure units that were started or haven't finished equal to what has completed and hasn't finished in the month. So, if we see them both the same, probably did a good job. But again, just like in Connect, you can always hit check my work and boom, it pops up. So nice and dandy. Okay. Now, as again, we see this little link right here. That means 1 and 2 are probably related to each other. So let's see how they're related. It wants us to compute the total equivalent units of production. Now remember, equivalent units, when we actually try to figure them out, is always going to be like the past tense. It's always going to be the accounted. So, units completed and ending work in process. Again, if you check your notes, this is pretty much the one that we're now doing. We're doing step 2 in that 4-step process that was with your notes. Okay? So here we'll put in units. We add that 455, 1, 2, 3, and then ending work at 166, 1, 2, 3, and we put in the percentage. Now again, if units are completed, that probably means everything's been done, so it's always going to be 100%. So always remember that. And then we got 40%. Now we actually have to do the multiplication here. Connect is not doing it. So if anything times 100% is basically itself. That's just times it by 1. Here, we actually have to do the multiplication. So we'll pop out the calculator. Hit in 166, 1, 2, 3, and times it by 0.4. Again, you always want to convert percentages to decimals. It's a little bit easy. Again, if you haven't done before, always start from right here or the decimal would be, and go to the left 2 spaces. So that's why we get 0.4. Okay? So our answer should be 66,400. Let's see what we got. Alright, so our total equivalent units that could have been completed would have been 521,400. Out of this, our ending conversion wise should have been 66,400 that could have been completed out of the 166 that were there if we just focused on those. Again, everything's correct, and you just have to multiply. Nothing too extremely tough right here. This is a step-by-step process that always happens when we're looking at equivalent units. Mostly, managers take this report just to see how many units they could have had done and how much it will cost them. So, of course, question 3 brings in the cost. So, we have a production department. Beginning inventory cost includes 442,000 in conversion cost in the beginning. They incur an additional 1,137,500 in conversion cost, and its ending production of conversion total is 990,000. So equivalent units we have there. So first, we have to put in the formula. The formula itself, again, is cost to be allocated divided by equivalent units of production. Now with that, remember, you have to know these formulas. These formulas are on rock. Again, this is step 3. So cost incurring divided by equivalent units of production. Remember this, when we're dealing with the cost, it's using a count. So beginning and basically cost incurred. So they're using the beginning stuff right here. What's happening during the month. Present value. So, problem is now we got 2 numbers. One's the beginning, one's the conversion cost. So we must add those 2. So let's go to our calculator. And we take the beginning. And we're going to add the cost incurred, which was 1137,500. Tell it to enter, and we have 157,950. Good, 1,579,500. Make sure I put that in correctly. Yes, I did. Nice. And then we just put in our units. So 990. And notice that Connect actually did the division for us, which is awesome. We love that. And notice it comes out to about cost per equivalent unit about $1.60, which isn't too bad. I will tell you this, most likely it should be over $1. Even if you had to guess, this amount right here that incurred during the month is more than the units that are there for equivalent units. So I definitely know it's going to be over $1. How much so? Depends. On multiple choice question, if you have that ever on a quiz or a test, those kind of things could help you out right there. Okay? Notice how close it is. So it's probably going to be a little bit over $1. It's not double, even with adding this. So there's little stuff right there. Alright. Question 4. Now, question 4 is bringing us different scenarios that are going on. Again, Connect likes to give you some hint buttons, so hints are always good, but this is still figuring out our units. Again, when we're figuring out our units, we should already know it's accounted. So with that, figuring out our EUPs. It's always going to be whatever's been completed, and whatever's in ending. So when I look at here, we're going to find those two. So the first number I see is 82,000 units of production have been completed. Yay, completed. So we know that's one. Okay. And of these 3 units, it brings up beginning, which we're not using. The other is using 49,000 that was started and completed. We don't care. And then we find period ending. There we go. There's our numbers. Okay, so we finish out with 99,600 units. Yay! Now, again, we want to check out percentage of materials. So with this question, it's going to have all these different scenarios. Again, scenario number 1 says all direct materials are added to the product when processing begins. So if all the direct materials are there, we know that's 100%, 100%, and of course this is the easy one. Alright, nothing changed. All fine and dandy. Scenario 2, again, it's going to be the same. Goods completed, ending, work in process, units are still the same, because all these are different scenarios. So let's go ahead and fill it down here too. Woo woo woo. So, once you got them all in, all we got to do is look at the scenario and see what they changed. Now, again, anytime we're dealing with complete, we already know that's 100%. So no matter how much they try and change the scenarios, can't really do anything to that. So, okay. So, let's see. Ending work in process. Beginning inventory is 40% complete as to materials. Ending inventory is 75% complete. So we know this needs to be 75%. On this one, beginning inventory is 70% completed as to materials and 30% completed as to conversion cost. Again, that's beginning. We don't have beginning here. We'll only focus on ending. Ending inventory is 20% completed to materials and 70% completed as to conversion cost. Now here, we're looking at material percentage. So out of these two, 20% is going to be what we need. Again, that's 20% complete to materials. 70% that's to our conversion cost. So if we look down our notes, we're only doing this section right here, direct materials. So direct materials right here, not focused on conversion. Okay? Just happens with scenario 2, they're both at 75%. Alright, so let's take our calculator, let's see if we get all this correct. So times by 0.75 says that's got to be 13,200. And now we got to take the other scenario and times it by 0.2. 3520. So as you can see, judging by how much percentage there are, the equivalent units according to materials ends up changing. So at 75%, only 95,200 would have been made. At 20%, only 85,520. Again, always hit check my work. Let's see if anything pops up weird. Nope, everything's good. So we're still going. Let's hit what question 5. Oh no. Question 5 brings out a little bit of something different. Now, it does give us plenty of information up here, which we're going to go through. But It also wants us to calculate the equivalent units of production for the department, but it doesn't give us the fancy charts as we know in our notes or in prior questions. So with this, you can either write this down and make the charts and go through the process as it goes, but 6, 7, and 8, I'll tell you this, have the charts. So if you want to just look at these and figure out through 6, 7, and 8, it's going to be good to go. In fact, this is what I'm going to use to help show you what to do on this question. So, question 5 says calculate the equivalent units of production for the forming department. Okay? So we know when we calculate equivalent units, our EUPs, we're dealing with accounted. So let's see if we can piece these out. So this is at the beginning, right here. We're not dealing with beginning. We are only dealing with completed and ending. Okay? So with this, 60% completed as materials, 40% completed to conversion cost. The beginning inventory cost of $70,100, consistent to $50,800 of direct material cost, and $19,300. Again, not too focused on that. During the month, the forming department started 400,000 units. At the end of the month, the forming department had 40,000 units in ending inventory, 85% completed as to materials, and 35% completed conversion costs units completed to the forming department. Now, since I want to picture this of what's going on, again, I want to go to question 6. So I want to kind of use this as my way of figuring things out. So again, this is all about equivalent units of production. So we know we're dealing with units completed and transferred out and work in process units. Here in question 5, so again, I'm going to go flip and flop a lot. We already got the ending units was 40,000. So we know we have 40,000 units, but I did not get my completed. We know during the month we had a beginning of 30,000 and we actually started 400,000. So just adding those two together, because those are our count, we know our counted has to also equal 430,000 to figure it out. So adding those two, all you need to do now is subtract the ending, which happens to be 40,000 in this example. So that means completed goods transferred out was 390,000 for us. So we're going to put that in here just to give us a visual of what's going, and it'll be a lot harder for me to do all this in Paint. So now let's look at how much was completed per materials and per conversion. So if I look at here at the end, because ending is the one that we care about, completed, we already know it's 100%. Nothing's going to change there. Here we see 85% completed as to materials and 35% as completed to conversion. So, go to question 6. It said 85 and I think it was 35. Let me check. Previous. Yep, 35. Okay, so here, I'm adding so many zeros to that 100%, huh? Okay, so now we got the visualize going on. Now we can actually figure out our equivalent units of production just using question 6. Later we're going to have to change up these numbers just to get back to the right one for this question. But here, I already know this is 390, 1, 2, 3. 390, 1, 2, 3. And we just need to take these by the percentages. So, 40,000 times by 0.85 equals about 34,000 units I could have made out of that ending according to materials. Per conversion times 0.35, I should have only made 14,000 units per conversion, equivalent units. So, as you can see, Connect already adds these up if we use question 6 as kind of like a helpful hint. So, here, when it's trying to find the equivalent units, since I already did the math, and all of those, I can just take them over. Just look what happened on question 6. So 404, 424, boom, and I can always check my work on this step, and we find out that they are correct. It's just using Connect as a resource to itself. Okay. So next, we want to find the cost per equivalent unit of production of the forming department. So let's see. 6 was basically that. 7 is actually compute the equivalent cost. Okay. So we know cost is basically present form. So it's always cost at the beginning plus cost incurred. And it's going to divide by our EUPS. So again, this chart's already here for us in Connect, but if you'd like to write this one out, you're more than willing to go. Again, this is going to mimic basically our chart right here. Okay, step 3. So with this, again, I'm just using Connect as a helpful tool because I don't have it with question 5. So let's look at what was the cost. Okay, so beginning work in process inventory was 70,100. Okay, so that gives us our beginning. So right here, we know no matter what, cost was this. Okay, now all we need to know is the cost incurred this period related to materials and related to conversion. So again, if you're using this method just to show you visually, you can always hit this grid right here and quickly switch between the questions. Okay, so direct materials was 1,539,200. So 1,539,200. Okay, and look, again, Connect does everything for you. We find out that our cost per material is $3.80. Well, let's now see on our conversion. Okay, conversion added 1,047,260. And boom, there we go. 380 and 277. It makes it a little bit easier. Again, you're going to have to do the math if it's on a paper test or paper quiz, but it helps to know the math itself. So don't forget the math. Just make sure you actually understand what's going on. I'm just helping you, giving you that visual of what Connect can actually help with. So again, check my work. Uh-oh, something's wrong. Maybe I just didn't convert it over. So let's see what happened. Did I do something wrong here? Alright, so we know it's cost added. Cost added. We did those. Oh, look what I did wrong, guys. I just took the 70,100. Okay, I did a boo-boo. Sometimes that happens. Well, this is where I tell you to always read, because mistakes happen. So, we need to take that 50,800 and the 19,300. I can't believe I did that. Y'all probably said, oh my god, you're doing it wrong. Okay, so 50,000, oh dang, I forgot the number already. 50,800. And then we get 19,300. I can't believe I did that. I honestly can't. This is what happens when you didn't listen to it. So really it's 375 and 264. Oh wow. Oh, and I went to the wrong question. But see, that's why you check on everything. So if I don't give you that example, then you will never know. Then this was $2.64. Let's see. So that's actually helping out. So this is why we always check and never assume anything. There we go. So now they're correct. Can't believe I did that. Oh well. So with this, we now get to do our little chart here. It actually provides us with a chart. Woo woo woo. Okay, so what's this? We know our E-up for completed. And if you can't remember, jump to part 6 if you didn't erase everything. And completed was 390,000. So 390,000. And now we do our cost. And cost is right up here again. So that 3.75 and 2.64. And we actually have to figure out our cost. So again, take our completed times by our cost. This was 1,462,500. So 1,462,500. And then do it for the other one. 1,296,600. 2,960,600. Okay, so 2,492,100. Okay, here we just need to do the E-ups for our ending. So again, question 6 already has these for us. For materials, it was 34,000. For conversion, it was 14,000. So 34, 14, and Connect does everything for us. So we should have had like about 2,656,560. Let's see if I did everything correct. Boom, everything's good. Still can't believe I made that mental mistake right there, but it happens. As long as you can see that, mistakes happen, it works. Okay? So let's move on to actual question number 6. Now we kind of use it. We already got stuff filled in. We now just have to put the right units and percentage. Alright? So again, let's look at what we got. During November, the company transferred 700,000 units of product to finished goods. So this is actually 700 according to this question now. Whoop. Okay, so that's fixed. At the end of November, the work in process inventory consists of 180,000 units that or 30% complete in respect to conversion. Beginning inventory, 4,000 of direct materials and 139 of conversion costs. Direct materials added was, of course, 2,220,000, and the conversion cost added was 3,254,000. Beginning work in process consisted of 60,000 units, 100% complete related to direct materials, 80% completed with respect to conversion. Alright. Of these units completed, 60,000 were from beginning work in process, and 640,000 units were started and completed during the period. I don't know why they repeat, but they repeat. Anyway, our ending units was 180,000. Again, at the end, work in process consists of 180,000 units. Notice it only gives us a percentage related to conversion. If it's only doing that, that means materials was 100%. So we're left with 880,000 related to materials. Here we were closed. But we have 30%. So let's find 180,000 times 30. Times that 0.3, 54,000 units that could have been done. So this is the actual true blue answer for question 6. Again, if you just if you're using the method I did for question 5 and actually using these charts to fill in your numbers, make sure if you forget, hit check my work before you start this one so that the red X's show, so you can actually go back and fix it. Okay? Just remember, you have to go back and fix these questions if you use them as the example. So again, right here we're looking at cost beginning work in process. So we're going to look at the beginning. So beginning inventory had these costs. So 420, 23, and 139, 123. So 420,000 for materials and 139,000 for conversion. Again, we're not going to do the same mistake I did in 5. We have to separate out these costs. That is just my bad. So materials that incurred. So again, we're looking at what incurred are added. We had 2,220,000, 123, and then we had 3,254,123. Okay, so now we got our true cost for question 7. Now we have to put the E-ups that we actually have in question 6, which happens to be 880,000 in materials and 754,000 in conversion. So, with that being said, this should be the amount. Let's see. Yep, boom, there we go. Everything's good. So I wonder what question 8 is going to have. Question 8 has us actually doing the same thing we did, or basically step 4. This little chart right here. So, first we got to put in our E-ups. Well, units completed is going to always be the same. It's going to be whatever we transferred out. So 700,000 units cost. We have to go back to question 7. And we know materials, it was $3. Conversion was $4.50. So, $3 and $4.50. Now, always put the decimal places in. It just helps out with Connect. So we found out that our total cost related to transferred out should be about 5,250,000. Here, Again, all we gotta do is put our EUPs according to ending work in process. So that's going all the way back to question 6 and pull in these two numbers. So 180,000 to materials, 54,000 to conversion. Okay? So 180 and 54. Okay, cool. Hit check my work, make sure everything's good. Everything's good. Question 8 is done. So now we moved on from doing all this EUP stuff and going to awesome journal entries. Journal entries, woo! Only for 4 questions have actual journal entries. So we went from the hardest part of chapter 16 and now going to what should be familiar territory from chapter 15, just throwing in a process cost method. So first off, record purchase of raw materials for cash. Well, again, what did we take over in ownership? Should be the raw materials, and we paid out cash. Here it says 66,000 raw materials, and then it's production department requisition about 52,500. So we got 66,000 and 66,000. Again, you can hit check my work as you process through, or you can just wait till the end and then make sure everything's okay. So again, when we know direct materials is always your work in process. So work in process, and it's always going to come from raw materials of a 52,500. 52,500, the amount that was requisitioned from whichever department. So again, hit check my work. Boom, everything's good. We know we can move on. So question 10. Question 10 now brings us 3 journal entries. 1. Has direct labor used but not yet paid. And even here, it tells you which account to credit. So usually we always know to credit factory payroll when it's incurred. We haven't paid it yet. So incurred labor is always the payroll. Remember, it has to be factory, okay? To deal with the work in process and factory overhead, has to be the factory wages, okay? So with this, 170, 170, boom, there's the first one. Again, direct should be work in process. 2, indirect. Indirect's always your overhead, okay? And again, until it's already to credit. So 23,500, 23,500, boom. Not so hard. Again, just like chapter 15. And in case you do want to look, the journal entries are in your notes. We just did the material. We're now doing the labor. And you believe that we're probably going to have overhead coming up soon. Okay? So again, once we actually do the payment of the factory, that's always going to come out of the payroll, because now we don't owe our basically workers. And of course, you got paid on cash. Rarely will ever see on account. I doubt that's ever going to happen. So it's always going to be cash, because that's going to be weird if you pay your workers on account. So I don't even know how you can do that. So we're not even going to worry about that. So most likely it's going to be cash. Again, after you fill everything out, you can hit check my work, see if there's any errors whatsoever. If there's no errors, we're good to go. Let's move to question 11. And like I said, we got some overhead. Okay, so first off, we have 9,300 of indirect materials for production of surfboard wax. Yay! We like a company that's known as Hot Racks. Again, sometimes the most common sense companies are the best. So again, indirect, we know immediately it's factory overhead. And let's go and deal with raw materials. Okay, since it's materials, it's not labor. Of 9,300. Okay. Question 2 says we incurred 160,000 of overhead cost, and it even tells us credit those other accounts. So since it says that already, we're going to go ahead and credit other accounts. And again, since this is overhead cost, we're going to debit factory overhead. Again, this is our actual costs that are going on. We haven't figured out basically our applied. So question 3 says applied overhead. Okay, when we're dealing with applied overhead, that is always making factory overhead a credit. Okay, and we're dealing with work in process. Basically, we're putting in work in process overhead. And this is about 145%. So our predetermined rate is related to direct labor cost. But our direct labor cost was 155,000. So again, all we have to do is take the predetermined rate that's given to us this time around and times it by 155,000. So again, on our calculator, we times this. Remember, we still have to convert the percentage to decimal, so 1.45. So should be about looks like 224,750. 750, 224, 750, and let's see what's gonna happen. Yep, everything's good to go. Again, the key with these, with 15 and 16 chapters, when we're looking at job cost and process cost, journal entries are usually the same. Again, the only thing to watch out for is in case we have 2 departments or more. Remember, each of them have their own work in process. If it's just one department, we're good. But if we're dealing with 2, better believe, need to separate out the work in process. Can't tell them both together. Alright. So, last question is all we have to do is record the transfer of work from production to finished goods. So, we know that transaction. We're going to debit finished goods. And we're going to credit work in process. Okay? So, we complete products costing $325,000 and transfer them to finished goods. And all we have to do is record that. Okay, remember, with this is once it's completed all departments. Now, if I still had multiple departments, you need to watch out for this journal entry also. Okay, that journal entry may pop up if we have more than one department that we're working with. Again, if it starts in blending, it's got to go through roasting first, or it starts in roasting, it has to go through blending. We have to transfer the cost, and then it's only when we get to the last one in the department chain, that we take it to finished goods. Here for the homework, it's already through that process. We're good to go. We hit check my work, and everything's done. So, there we go. There's our questions for Chapter 16 homework. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If it was, please leave a comment. I always appreciate those. I always appreciate the feedback. And you are definitely get to roast me a little bit about making that mistake. I honestly shouldn't have done that. But you only live from mistakes. If everything was perfect, we never learn anything. So, leaving you on that note, that's the end of Chapter 16. Hopefully I get to see y'all for the next exciting video of Accounting 2302 with your host, Professor Naragon. Alright, I will see y'all later.